Denise. Denise. It's Denise. It's Denise. It's Denise. Denise. It's a podcast party. It's a podcast party. It's a podcast party.
I gotta say, I feel like we're besties now after this. What's up, guys? It's Denise Salcedo. What's up, everyone? It is Denise. Welcome to the show. What a night it was here tonight on AEW Dynamite. We have so much to talk about. This was definitely a newsworthy edition of the show because there was just so much that went down here tonight. I was rushing to get this show done, but when we got shows like this that involved a lot of news, I tend to be a couple of minutes late. Now, before we get started, everyone, first of all, thank you guys so much for joining me here today. Thank you so much for tuning in. This is a very interactive show, so please feel free to chime in on the chat. I don't bite. Come in here, share your thoughts. I have a feeling today's episode is going to be a little problematic. And the reason I say that is because I didn't love or agree with a lot of the stuff that happened on AEW Dynamite today. And so with that being said, I have a feeling we might not see eye to eye today on some things. There were some things that I liked, some things that I had me questioning a few stuff, but we'll make sure to get into all of that here today. On top of that, if you guys want to help support the show, help keep me funded, please do send in super chats. Super chats get your comments read on this show. On top of that, you also help support me here today. So let's go ahead and jump right in. Our first super chat of the day. This is from Pile Driver Finisher, who says, good interview with Conan. He said a lot of things that I felt the same way about on Mexican style wrestling. Thank you and take care. Dude, thank you so much for checking out that interview. I was very excited to chat with Conan. That was my second time interviewing him. Always a good time. Thank you so much to Pile Driver Finisher. But now, let's go ahead and jump into the show. There's a lot of thoughts. We're going to go into this in a chronological format just so things don't get too messy. Official Matt Game says, Denise with the hot takes. We'll see. I don't know if they're hot takes. We'll see how the chat here reacts. But let's go ahead and get right into it. So, AEW Dynamite, June 8th, this podcast is sponsored by Wrestle Rumble. Let's kick things off with the first match of the day, and this was the Casino Battle Royale. This is who we were going to find out who was going to be facing Jon Moxley later tonight on Dynamite. And so there was a lot of confusion last week. Last week's episode, there was just so much confusion on who was going to be doing what and when these matches were going to happen. I think I even explained it wrong on this show, and people were confused, and everybody was confused. It was a whole big giant mess, right? Well, everything officially got cleared up for us. And by like the second day, we had a graphic, we had a press release, and we had all this different information in terms of what was actually going to go down. So today we opened up the show with the Casino Battle Royale, which we had about 21 guys, and they all went in there. And whoever won was going to go on to face Jon Moxley. And whoever won from the Jon Moxley match would go on to Forbidden Door. So, in this match, we had Darby Allin, Daniel Garcia, Tony Nese, Lance Archer, Eddie Kingston, Ricky Starks, Jake Hager, Ray Phoenix, Swerve Strickland, Keith Lee, John Silver, I always mess up his name, Takesha, the Ass Boys, Max Caster, Hobbs, Kyle O'Reilly, Bobby Fish, Dante Martin, Wheeler Yuta, and Andrade as the Joker. So, right off the bat, people were like, where the hell is Wardlow? Why isn't Wardlow in this? Another name. And we already knew Hangman Page was going to go and face David Finlay, but people were still like wondering like, okay, how come Hangman Page wasn't in this? How come Adam Cole wasn't in this, right? So there was a couple of people that you were wondering why they weren't in it. Besides Hangman Page, you already knew he had a match on the card because that had been promoted since a while back. Okay, so in terms of the Battle Royal, I already said my piece about this last week, but I will reiterate it today. I don't think we needed a battle royal. I really wish they would have gone about it a different way. And let me explain. The way that I wish that they would have gone about it is because of the rankings, guys. The rankings are a big, important, they're a big aspect of AEW. And so I know that they had the Wardlow explanation later on, but when we didn't know that information, when we still didn't know Wardlow's reasonings for not being part of the Battle Royal, I didn't really like that it wasn't, I would have liked something more concrete with the top 5 guys, with the top 5 ranked guys, if they would have done something with them instead of doing this whole big giant battle royal. I wasn't crazy about battle royal idea in the first place to get this person to go up and face Jon Moxley, given the fact that and see, this ties, there's so much that ties into this. So we'll talk about Hangman Page and Adam Cole in just a second, because that's also going to tie into how I thought they should have ran things a little bit differently, right? But let me go ahead and talk about the Battle Royal. I did not like this Battle Royal, and the reason why I didn't like it is because I thought it took way too long for it to get decent. I wouldn't even say that the last couple of minutes, I didn't think the last couple of minutes were anything super extraordinary. I wasn't like super into it, and I wasn't a big fan of like the final people in the actual tournament, and that in the Battle Royal, excuse me. And that was my honest to God like opinion with this. So I know people are gonna be like, what the hell, Denise, how dare you? But you know what? I gotta speak my truth, and that's my truth. During this, I thought that Darby Allin was probably like the best person in terms of like actually getting like spots and cool stuff happening in the Battle Royal. Always in Battle Royals, we see a lot of just like people on the sides waiting around, and it's too obvious. And I thought there was a point in this Battle Royal where they were focusing too much on Keith Lee and Lance Archer, and it didn't even feel like exciting. Like I wasn't excited seeing Keith Lee and Lance Archer. I thought they could have been a little bit more, is what I'm trying to get at. Like if you're going to focus so much of the match, of a portion of this match on these two guys, they need to be out there like killing it. And I didn't feel like they necessarily did that. So I did feel like the pace was a little too slow. Like I said, too much focus on that one part of that match, too much waiting around, not a lot of stuff that was happening that was special. I thought once we had Kyle O'Reilly and Bobby Fish coming out, and we saw Darby do the coffin drop, and from there on, we started to see a couple more stuff actually happen in the Battle Royal. So I was like, okay, cool. Then we get to the portion where Swerve does the elimination on Keith Lee. Swerve eliminates Keith Lee. Now, we all know the rules to the Battle Royal. We all know it's every man for himself. Regardless, I was like, what the frick? Like, why the hell did they just do this to me? I was very heartbroken, very devastated when they had Swerve Strickland eliminate Keith Lee. And the reason I say that is because I bloody love them as a tag team together. And I think that having them as a tag team right now for a while works so much better than as opponents. I feel like they can do a lot with them as an actual tag team. So personally, I was a little bit upset about that, but whatever. Okay, so the other portions that I wanted to talk about is Swerve also getting that elimination on Darby. They gave Swerve some real big eliminations, and given the history between Swerve and Darby, that was not too surprising, but regardless, it was still a big elimination. And then he eventually got eliminated by Andrade. Okay, so the final 5 men, we had Rey Fenix, Andrade, Kyle O'Reilly, Yuta, and Hobbs. Okay, I knew Hobbs wasn't gonna be it. I already knew Yuta wasn't gonna like be the guy to win this match, and I know a lot of people, especially with him being the final guy, I already knew he wasn't going to win. Like, I don't know. Like, I'm sorry, but if you actually thought Wheeler Yuta was going to win, I'm like shocked, because there was no way that he was actually going to win this. Like, that was my thought process. Like, not once did I fall and think, oh my God, Wheeler Yuta's going to win. Like, not once did that actually cross my mind. So I was using process of elimination here. Like, okay, I'm not expecting, I wasn't expecting Hobbs to get it. I wasn't expecting Yuta to get it. And my thought process was, okay, it's going to be Rey Fenix, Andrade, or Kyle O'Reilly. Like, and then I thought it's not going to be Rey Fenix either. It's not going to be him. So it's either going to be Andrade or Kyle O'Reilly. Well, the final two ended up being Wheeler Yuta and Kyle O'Reilly. And the second I knew that, I was like, okay, Kyle O'Reilly's winning this. I think the crowd did kind of like fall for the possibility of Wheeler Yuta possibly getting the win, but I just knew it wasn't going to happen. Like, it was not going to happen. Anyways, I did like the strike exchange between Yuta and Kyle O'Reilly towards the end, and Kyle O'Reilly getting the win. Going into this, immediately, like when they made this announcement of how all this thing was going to go down once it was explained, etc., I already knew that Jon Moxley, it was very obvious that Jon Moxley was going to be the one to go into Forbidden Door. And so when they had Kyle O'Reilly win the Battle Royal, I already knew, okay, I knew two things. One, this match between Kyle O'Reilly and Jon Moxley is going to be great. We already know that because these are two guys that have a really good, you just know that when they get into the ring together, it's going to be good stuff. It's going to be aggressive. It's going to be hard hitting, blah, 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 all that good stuff, right? But I knew that Kyle O'Reilly was not going to defeat Jon Moxley. So the outcome felt very obvious. With that being said, again, I didn't feel like we needed this casino battle royale for us to get to the point of it being Jon Moxley. Instead, and I know I'll talk about this more later on, but instead, I would have liked it to be given what we saw later on the show, which I'll talk more once we get to it with Adam Page and Adam Cole. I would have liked for it to just be like Adam Cole versus Jon Moxley tonight on Dynamite. And whoever wins that match is going to go on to Forbidden Door. I think that would have been a little bit more logical, mainly because of the ranking systems, etc. And I'm not even talking about Wardlow right now because I'm going to talk about that later. So there's a whole bunch of stuff weaved into this whole big ball of, everything. So send in your thoughts, guys. How did you feel about this? How did you feel about just like the Battle Royal in general? We'll talk about Kyle O'Reilly and Jon Moxley later on and all of that other good stuff. But let's see what people are saying here on what people are thinking here. We got a lot of people sending in the the Adam Cole being injured, etc. Yes, that was something that was put out there. But the way that they teased it today, and again, we'll talk about this more later. The way that they teased it, it's almost like they're gonna have Hangman Page and Adam Cole to see who's going to essentially go on to face either Jay White or Okada, which most likely I'm assuming it's going to be Hangman Page and Okada, but that's the story that they're going with right now. So let's see what we're going here. I think a lot of people have different opinions, so let's get them in here. This one is from Lord Pelagius, who says, I feel like you're being harsh on Yuta. No, but he's not at that level yet, though. He has a lot of potential. That has nothing to do that. Like, that's not the point, though. He has a lot of potential, but we all knew he wasn't going to be in that title picture. Okay, like nobody was going to buy that. This guy was going to go on to Forbidden Door and become AEW World Champion. He's going to eventually get there someday. It just wasn't going to happen today. So let's see what else we got. Luis R says, Denise came out swinging. I love it. This is my crazy thing, though. Like, you can give criticisms about things that you like, and it's okay. No need to jump off a bridge. But let's see what else we got here. This is from Lenny Osborne, who says, I was fine with the Battle Royal and how it played out. Yuta being the last man made sense given a stellar showing at the Battle of I'm already getting confused right now. The Battle of Super Juniors. Let's see what else we got. Yuta strong showing gives him momentum on his reinserted into the BCC and this ongoing world war with the Jazz. And that's fine. That's fine. Him getting this like momentum being reinserted into the BCC, that's perfectly fine. But I wasn't buying him going into the AEW World Championship picture is what I'm trying to get at, guys. Okay. And let's go ahead and see what we got here. We got our Riggs saying he was actually hoping for Andrade. There was a part of me that was hoping for Andrade too, but it was going to be the same thing, whether it was Andrade or Kyle O'Reilly. To me, it was going to be the exact same thing. Like, regardless, I was like, okay, it's going to be Moxley. If it would have been Andrade, it still would have been a good match. A different match from what he had with Kyle O'Reilly, a different match, but it still would have been a good match. But regardless, I still was going to be expecting the exact same outcome. Like, I wasn't expecting Andrade to be AEW World Champion or Kyle O'Reilly for it to happen right now. It was just too obvious. Nick Grasso sends in a super chat saying Kyle O'Reilly's bad choice for Mox. It was good to see Ospreay, but is that the best they have for him? And the women's match was hard to sit through. Yeah, I feel along the same lines too about Will Ospreay, and we'll talk about that when we get to that in just a second, and we'll talk about the women's match in just a second as well. But thank you so much to Nick Grasso for sending in his opinion as well. All right, let's get some more comments in here and see what people are saying about this. And this is from Pro Wrestling Fan, who says, I feel Yuta had a good chance because he had 3 matches with Mox and he lost all of them, but got better with each time. And I thought Mox could. That's fine, guys. He's going to get better. We know that, but he's not going to be AEW World Champion right now. I think that's what people are not like getting right now. It was not going to happen right now, guys. Not going to happen. In the future, yes. Right now, not so much. Let's see. We got Wolfman 6118 who says Hobbs versus Mox would have been cool too. Yes, but same exact things. We know that Hobbs is not going to be AEW World Champion right now, so we would not have, it would have been good, yeah, sure, but we knew that he wasn't going to be AEW World Champion. Like, it's got to be realistic, guys. It's got to be realistic, and you can tell as we move forward. This is from Derek Hubbard, who says, Yuta's a very good wrestler, but I do not see him as a future main event talent or a future champion. He does have the look, the presence, or the character. He does not stand out. He's getting started. He's making his way there. We'll see how, things change for him in the next year or two. Let's see what else we got. This is from Comic Book Bob, who says, so many people down on my boy Kyle O'Reilly. I thought it was a great choice and match. I thought it was a great match too, but it was just an obvious outcome, guys. And let's go ahead and move on from this here. Ooh, it's getting hot in here. We got some, I love it. We got some conflicting opinions, and this is good. This is my thing, and I'm just gonna be real with everybody. I absolutely hate that because of the way things are on social media, wrestling, Twitter, etc., that people cannot come out and say their real thoughts and opinions. Like, it's wrestling, it's entertainment. We should be okay with coming out and saying, this is how I felt about this. I'm a fan, but this is how I felt about this. That's why I love hosting a podcast, because you can go out and explain your reasonings versus only getting 240 characters to explain something. But we should be allowed to say our opinions. That should be a freedom that we have, guys, and without people wanting to murder you, bloody hell, kill that biatch. All right, so let's go ahead and move on from here. Amir F says obvious doesn't necessarily mean bad. All right, so moving on from here, let's go ahead and get into this one. This is going to be fun too. So the first hour of AEW Dynamite was here's this news. Oh, and on top of that, here's this. Oh, and here's that. There was a lot to kind of take in today. So anyways, we have a brand new championship bout. Now, for those random people that didn't check out AEW Dynamite or have not seen the news yet, and you're probably thinking, oh, it's the trios bout. They finally introduced the trios bout. It's not. So when they started announcing this, they basically said, oh, we're going to have a new championship. And then they put on a little video package and they were about to announce, the championship. I immediately thought oh, they're going to introduce the trios bouts. This is something that everybody has been talking about. Everybody and their mother has been talking about the trios bout. And then out of nowhere, about that, we hadn't heard of or had people, suggest or even talk about because we didn't know about it. And it is the All Atlantic Championship. So now AEW has the All Atlantic Championship. Now, immediately I thought, oh, wow, this was totally different from the direction that I thought that they were going to go in. Because again, I was expecting the trios bout. But here's the thing. I recall, and I forget which interview it was, because Tony Khan does about 1 million interviews. In one of those interviews, he said that he has a bunch of championships or a bunch of ideas for championships, etc., in his office that people don't know about, and that he's just waiting for an opportunity to have them come out and do something with them. And he did say that, and I was like, okay, he said that. And then he had also said that he's still waiting for Kenny Omega till he actually introduces the Trios Championships. So that was my other thing too. When I thought they were going to announce the Trios Championships, I thought, oh, but Kenny Omega's not here yet. And Tony Khan said he wanted to wait for Kenny Omega. So technically, knowing what Tony Khan has said in interviews, now it's very crystal clear that, okay, he was probably referring to a championship like the All-Atlantic Championship. Before we continue on, we do got a super chat from Christopher S. Thank you so much to Christopher, who says, they should have gone with Eddie Kingston, super over and adds extra tension for blood and guts, or even with the whole damn thing, he could have drawn money. He could draw money with, I was going to say Pac, with Punk. Thank you so much to Christopher S. for this very kind super chat and sending in your suggestion. And yeah, Eddie Kingston is somebody that I think people would have bought because he is super freaking over. Okay, now, immediately with the championship, there was some criticism about the name because people with maps were pointing out that Japan, it isn't in the Atlantic Ocean. And so a lot of people were pointing out those criticisms. I do think they should have named the bout something else. All Atlantic is not the greatest name. I think they could have done something different with the name. Do I have another idea? No, I don't. But I get the gripe that people have with the name. So I do agree with those people on that end. Sheldon Jackson says the All-Atlantic title reminded me of Lucha Underground's Gift of the Gods Championship with the design. I don't recall what that belt looks like, so I can't even tell you if I agree or disagree. Sorry, Sheldon, but thank you so much for the super chat. Nonetheless. All right, so here we go. The cool thing about this is that instantly we got this announcement for not just the championship, but also for the tournament itself. And give me a second while I upload the picture here because clearly I was not ready. Okay, so let me pull up this chart here, the bracket, 1 second, and this is uploading, so give me a second. But anyway, so what we're going to be getting is, here it is. There we go. All right. So what we're going to be getting is a 4-way match for the All-Atlantic Championship. And this 4-way is going to culminate at Forbidden Door. Now, we are only 18 days away from the Forbidden Door, and we still only have we don't have very much in terms of what is actually going to go down. So on the left side, we had the first match today, which was Buddy Mathews versus Pac. Instantly, we found out that Pac was going to be winning and continuing on into the 4-way. Great shout, because I do think that Pac is one of my Pac, Miro, and Malachi Black are on my top 3 of who I think should be winning this tournament. I think Pac is a really strong one, and the reason why I think he's a really strong one is because he is somebody that has had just like a crazy amount, like all the matches that he has had have been crazy good. Okay, like he has not dropped the ball. And so I think that if he were to hold this championship, I already know that he would have a string of really good matches. Now, in the bottom, we had on the left side, Ethan Page and Miro. Miro right now, he returned at the LA show. And he's been gone for a bit. He's doing the Hollywood stuff, etc. I don't think Ethan Page is the right person to win this bout. Unfortunately for Ethan Page, I think being part of the Men of the Year has kind of it hasn't been a liked story on Dynamite. It hasn't been something that I think the people have really gotten behind of. So I almost feel like that has hurt him to the point where maybe some people might not want to see him as champion here. So that's why I don't think it would be Ethan Page. Which is why I would go with Miro. And then with Penta and Malachi Black, 2 good options as well. But I don't think we're going to be seeing Penta and Pac in the same match. The commentary did tease that. I just don't think it's going to happen. I actually, out of these 2, I would go with Malachi Black. And the reason for that is Malachi Black came in and he was like, this felt like a very big deal. House of Black, started coming together very fast and it felt like a big deal. But after that, they've kind of been in the story. After that, I feel like so much of the hype for Malachi Black went down a little bit. Like he's still going out there and having these great matches, right? Like these trios matches, etc., that they've been doing. But for Malachi Black, I do think him holding some gold would benefit him a whole lot. So that's why I'm also going with him. In terms of who I think New Japan Pro Wrestling might be bringing in, clearly we don't have any names just yet, but based on the names that AEW announced, I'm guessing guys like Sonata, maybe Evil, Goto, Yoshihashi, I don't know. That's kind of like the idea of where I'm thinking in terms of who they might announce for New Japan Pro Wrestling. But there you go. That's the chart. So we'll see what happens there. But let's go ahead and continue on. I know we're getting tons of comments here, so I want to make sure I don't skip any of these here. And let's see. We got a super chat here, and this is from Roberto Arsenal, who says, I think the All Atlantic Championship will be defended in AAA and New Japan, which should be fun. Tony Storm versus Rosa should be good. Yeah, I hope that the point of this belt, because here's the thing, like, we have the FTW Championship, right? And I'm sure a couple of you people right now are like, oh yeah, I forgot about that belt, because they haven't really made it into like a big deal. I don't even know. They didn't even officially recognize it, did they? Chat, remind me on this one. Is it officially recognized now by AEW? I don't even remember. But the point is that it's still there and they haven't really done much with it. Like just recently they started actually having matches for Ricky Starks, etc. But it doesn't really feel like a belt that really matters much, at least right now in AEW. And so immediately, like, I don't want this belt, this All Atlantic Championship, to kind of feel that way. I don't think it should feel that way. So I would like to see it as the belt that you kind of see on the cards for different shows, like you mentioned, like New Japan and AAA, etc. Blah blah blah. I do think that would be a really good idea. So thank you to Roberto for sending in this idea and also this super chat period. Okay, let's get some more comments here, and this is from King of Hueco Mundo, who says AEW belts are massive belts and very nicely done. We got Viva Swazan, Viva. Oh, here we go. Viva el Sus Animals. Okay, sorry. Your username tricked me. I was like, what is it? I had to piece it together. Anyways, they say Pac is one of the best all-around performers in all of wrestling right now. Miro for the win, though. We got a lot of people going for Miro, but if I had to pick, I'm going with Pac, though, like as my number one option. But clearly we don't know who's going to be, on the New Japan side of things. So, yeah. All right, let's get some more comments in here and see what we got. This is from GQ, who says, this belt design absolutely makes no sense to what the title of the belt actually is. If it's All Atlantic, then why does it only show Pacific countries? Let's see. And thank you to Lenny, who reminds me that the FTW title is still an unofficial title. Thank you so much for reminding me that, because I wasn't sure if I missed something here. And let's get some more thoughts in here. This is from Pomi Wrestling, who says, I'm going to assume the All Atlantic Championship will be more of an of an international bout that will be defended more often in other promotions aside from AEW. And that's a good thing. I think that's a good thing. To have that promoted in another promotion, like have it, defended in other promotions, that's a good thing. I'd be into that for sure. All right, so let's go ahead and let me make sure I got everything covered here. Okay, so I already kind of spoke about the Buddy Mathews Pac match. It was really good striking from both guys. Loved the Liger Bomb from Buddy. Really good stuff there. Loved the Poison Rana from Pac. Really good. The finish with the Black Arrow with Pac getting the win. Good stuff, guys. All right, so before we continue on from this, just a friendly reminder, guys, if you do want to get your question, comment, or statement read on the stream, feel free to send in a super chat. Not only do you get yourself showcased on this show, but on top of that, you help support me. F4W Online does allow me to keep 100% of the proceeds from super chat, so they help me out. But moving on. Eddie Kingston was backstage, and he calls out Jake Hager for costing him essentially a shot for the AEW World Championship. So that happens, and they do announce the match for later on, and I'll talk about that in a second. But let's get into what went down here with Trent Beretta and Will Ospreay and just everything that went down here today. All right, so Trent Beretta, he comes out And, he's talking about how he's bummed that his friends aren't there, that they were supposed to be there. He mentions it's National Best Friends Day, and his friends aren't there. It's very sad. He says that he believes that Roppongi Vice, that they deserve another title shot for the Ring of Honor tag team titles after the United Empire interfered and cost them their match. So he calls out FTR. FTR comes out and they basically agree with, what Trent had to say. But he tells them, like, you should be more mad at Will Ospreay and his guys. Like, that's who you should be mad at. So then, lo and behold, Will Ospreay appears. And so he comes out, and then his guys, him and the Aussie Open, they come out from behind and attack Trent Beretta and FTR from behind. And then afterwards, we end up seeing Will Ospreay and his guys all like do their pose, and that's kind of like the final shot that we get here on AEW Dynamite. So this was fun. This was fun for just the fact that we finally got to see Will Ospreay on Dynamite. I think that within itself was just like, oh shit, like this feels very exciting. Like that's the whole point of the Forbidden Door, right? To be seeing, these people that we didn't expect to see. Okay, cool. Now, somebody mentioned earlier that they kind of felt like this wasn't, that big of a deal of a match for Will Ospreay. We still don't know what the official match is going to be for Forbidden Door, but we can guess that it's going to be a 6-man, right? Like that's kind of like the direction in which we're looking like it's going. Okay, with that being said, like it's fine. It's going to be good. It's going to be a good time. But I did kind of want to see Will Ospreay in a different match. I kind of want to see Will Ospreay, in a singles match. I don't exactly know who I would want it to be against just yet, but because there's so many different options. So that's kind of the direction I thought they were going to go in, but it's looking like they're going this direction instead. But with that being said, it was still exciting to see Will Ospreay there in AEW. That was really fun. And just to kind of see how that all culminates. So let's go ahead and see what people are saying here about this, and let's see what people are saying. And we'll talk about the Rampage match that they announced later on for the show. We'll talk about that in just a second because they did make an announcement for that too. And Sheldon Jackson says crowns up for the United Empire. And he just did get back. Ospreay just did get back from that kidney infection. So glad to see that he's definitely doing better. Lord Pelagius says, Will Ospreay on AEW is something I've been wanting for a long time. Agree. It's very, very exciting to see that happening here. And let's go ahead and continue on from here. Let's see. We got Roberto who says Will Ospreay versus Ricky Starks would have been great since Will wanted to wrestle AEW homegrown talent. Lenny says the match at Dominion is still kind of up in the air too, with Juice Robinson having his appendix removed for this weekend. Ospreay appearing was a huge shock. Aussie Open is a really good tag team. And I agree with all of those comments as well. Okay, so, and we'll talk more about the matches that were announced for Rampage and Dynamite later on. But regardless, very excited to see Will Ospreay. I feel like there are a lot of endless possibilities for what can be done, and we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. All right, so now let's go ahead and hop into Hangman Page versus David Finlay. I was very excited when they made this match announcement. David Finlay is one of my favorite interviews that I have done because he has like a really fun personality. He has like he's a very adventurous guy. He's an interesting guy. So kind of getting to like know that side of him, I feel like adding that to what I had seen from him and like in-ring wise, and then his family, his dad is very, very respected. So there's just so much that goes into that I was very, very happy to see David Finlay get this opportunity on AEW. I thought that was really cool. I never realized how much Hangman Page and David Finlay kind of look alike. BTW, I was thinking about it during the match. I was like, shit, they kind of look alike. And I never realized it until now. We had Adam Cole on commentary. This was a fun, solid match. I think these are the matches that Hangman Page should have been having during that period where we weren't really seeing him that often when he was champion. Had he been having matches like this consistently, I think people would have probably not complained because there were people complaining about, Hangman Page's reign, etc. Whatever. That's in the past. Let's not talk about that right now. But either way, I still think that this was a really solid match. There was a lot that I loved from this match. Hangman Page had a really awesome dive to the outside to David Finlay. That was good too. I love the backbreaker from David Finlay. Very nice stuff there. I love the German suplex from Finlay as well. I really love that. I especially loved the finish. It was very simple, but good. We had Hangman essentially hit a lariat on David Finlay, and then afterwards he waits for him, he gets the buckshot lariat and gets the win. Simple but good. So overall, I like this match. I like stuff like this, and I want to keep seeing it. But let's go ahead and talk about what happened afterwards. So after this, we had Adam Page on the microphone, and he says, I wasn't part of this battle royal. It doesn't look like I'm going to be getting another shot at the AEW World Title. And so he says, like, okay, that's fine, cool, whatever, because there are other championships out there, other championships that I can go out for. And then he mentions the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship. He says that he wants that bout. And then he says, I want Okada. Okay, great. And then afterwards, Adam Cole interrupts him, and he basically tells him, like, first off, you don't even know if Okada is going to be champion. Like, it could be Jay White, right? And then he says that, like, he shouldn't be the one to get the championship, that it should be him, that Adam Cole should be the one getting the title shot, and he warns Page to stay out of his way. So I'm assuming they're probably going to get that settled and figure out, like, who's going to do what. Like, they haven't really explained where we're going with this. So I think that's going to be something interesting here. So I'm still expecting this to be Okada and Hangman. Like, that's my prediction. I feel like that's a solid prediction. I feel like that's, like, what a lot of people think is actually going to happen. So that's why I had said that I would have liked to see Moxley versus Cole instead, because I feel it's very clear that we're going to get Okada and Hangman. But let's see what you, the people, are saying. All right, so let's see what we got here. Oh man, we got some funny comments here. Some funny comments, and I'm trying to pick some good ones here. This is from, let's get this one. This is from Adam, who says, Hangman versus Okada will have a bunch of Kenny Omega references. Dave Goldberg says Adam Cole on commentary for New Japan. And King of Hueco Mundo says Hangman, you champion at Forbidden Door. Oh, I don't know. I don't think so, but who knows? Like, anything can happen, right? I don't think it'll happen, but who the hell knows at this point? I don't even know anymore. All right. So before we move on, guys, Jesus Christ, there's so much to talk about on this show. Before we move on, if you're having a good time watching Speak Now Pro Wrestling, as always, please do not forget to give this video a like. Let the people know that you guys enjoyed it. If you didn't enjoy it, don't tell anyone. Keep that to yourself. And subscribe to F4W Online. We are well on our way to 100,000 subscribers. We're like at over 84,000. So we're getting there. Click that subscribe button. I go live here 3 times a week. On Tuesdays, I'm here to chat about NXT 2.0. If you're one of the few people who still cares about NXT 2.0, you can come in and hang out with me on Tuesdays. Wednesdays, I'm here each and every single week. It's my favorite stream of the day because we always have so much to talk about, and that is AEW Dynamite. It's always a really good time, so make sure you guys come in here. And then Fridays, I'm here for Smackdown and Rampage. That's like my craziest show of the week, and I don't even know why. It's super chill or super crazy. You just don't know what you're going to get on Fridays. Fridays are a big, giant question mark for me each and every single week. But regardless, I'm here Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. Now, moving on to Wardlow. He was a name that instantly people were like, what the fuck? Like, why isn't Wardlow in this battle royal? He is ranked right now at number 2. So why the hell isn't Wardlow in this battle royal? Well, commentary announced it right away. They basically said, you know what? Like, we're gonna have a reason later on as to why Wardlow was not in this battle royal. So I was very happy that they addressed it fast and that they just didn't pretend that he wasn't there, because they knew the fans were gonna be wondering, where the hell is Wardlow? So I'm very happy that commentary got that out of the way fast. So anyways, he comes out with Tony Schiavone and he basically explains his reasonings as to why he's not going to be in the battle royal. He says, that he told Tony Khan he opted out of being in the Battle Royal. And the reason that he did that is because he wants he says CM Punk is our champion. CM Punk is still our AEW World Champion. So if I'm not pinning him, if I'm not tapping him out, he doesn't want it yet. He says he doesn't want it yet if he's not going to be doing this directly with CM Punk. And he tells CM Punk, heal up because I'm going to be waiting for you. Now, then he says that he's going for the TNT Championship. Okay, before I talk about, let me just explain this out of the way then. Scorpio Sky walks out. He talks about being injured. And Wardlow says, okay, fine. When you're not injured, we'll do this. Okay. And then afterwards, we find out that Mark Sterling offers him this opportunity. He says, you either go to court with me because you ripped up the documents. Because if you guys recall, he's suing them for attacking the securities. And essentially, we get this match made where we're going to see Wardlow take on a bunch of plaintiffs. Okay, fine. Let's get that out of the way. Let's talk about this explanation, though, that Wardlow gave in terms as to why he's not why he chose not to be part of this Battle Royal. I feel you can see it two ways. You either like this explanation or you don't. And I see it both ways. Now, I'm a little bit torn, but I am leaning to one side. So on one side, you have the people that loved it because it's like, yeah, like, you know what? CM Punk's a champion. Mad respect for CM Punk. Like, mad respect that Wardlow wants to go directly after the champion, right? Okay, cool. Mad respect for that. Makes sense. Cool. But then the other part of me is like, well, if you were going to become interim champion, you're still going to face CM Punk, who is the actual AEW World Champion, unless you're thinking that you won't be interim champion for long. Like, the interim champion, whoever is interim champion, is still going to face CM Punk. So regardless, CM Punk is still that, pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. Like, you're still going to be meeting up with CM Punk regardless, right? If you're interim champion, you're still going to go on to face CM Punk. Then the other thing I started thinking about was he basically said, I don't want the interim AEW World Championship. So you're kind of a little bit burying the interim AEW World Championship when we're doing all this Battle Royal and this match and that match to eventually get to crown an interim AEW World Champion. And Wardlow's like, nah, I don't want it. So it's kind of like, on one hand, I get it. I get the respect. He wants to go up there and face, CM Punk. But then on the other hand, I'm like, you still were going to face CM Punk if you were interim champion. And you kind of also buried the AEW interim championship. So I think this explanation was like, it was just a way for them to say, not right now, Wardlow. Not right now. You're in the TNT title picture. Not right now for the AEW World Championship. You ain't there yet, but that's how I felt they were saying. Like, that's what I felt they were saying. So I didn't love the explanation because instantly those two thoughts popped into my head. So let's see what people are saying in regards to this here. Someone also points out why Jay Lethal wasn't in the Battle Royal. I don't know. I think he's number 5 in the top 5, right? I don't remember the exact. I just know Moxley's 1. Wardlow's 2, and then I forget the rest, 3, 4, and 5, but I know he's up there. Okay, so let's go ahead and Adam says Wardlow versus security guys feels like a Street Fighter bonus level. I'm really looking forward to that match because I think it's pretty damn hilarious, actually. I think it's pretty damn hilarious that they're going to do that. Wolfman says, I'm with you on the Wardlow stuff. Thanks, right? Like, I don't know. I'm just thinking things, guys. Part of my job is to think. Maybe analyze a couple of these things. But anyways, that's what's going on with Wardlow. All right, guys, send in your thoughts. Let me know how you guys felt about Wardlow's explanation. If you watch the show on replay, you're more than welcome to also go ahead and leave your comments in the comments section below. Now, Let's go ahead. Oh my gosh, we got a very kind super chat. Thank you so much to Bridget Hewlett. Bridget says, I'm excited for Wardlow's future. He will be champ at some point. And she sends in a very, very generous super chat. Bridget has been nothing but incredibly generous on this show. So thank you so much to Bridget. We've spoken privately and she's awesome and she knows it. Thank you so much for the love, man. I appreciate it constantly for all the support you send in. Bridget, you rock, man. Chat, if you're in here and you're active, please give some love to Bridget. I feel like we need to give her some extra love. So chat, please give her some love. All right, so let's go ahead and before we move on, guys, I do got a couple of things to say here, and that is that we are just 18 days away from entering the Forbidden Door. AEW and New Japan Pro Wrestling are coming together on June 16th for a joint show. I, for one, am super excited as we've been here talking about it, and we already know watching wrestling is already fun. We know that, but what if you could actually make a little extra cash while watching the show? Turns out you can. WrestleRumble.com is the place to be. WrestleRumble.com is going to be opening their Forbidden Door very soon so that you can enter the Forbidden Door Pick'em contest. How it works is you purchase an entry and you get to answer prop questions about what you think is going to happen on the show. And the person with the most points will take home some cash prizes. The prizes for this specific Forbidden Door Pick'em contest is fourth place will be getting a mystery prize. Third place will be getting $100. Second place will be getting $200. And first place will be taking home $500. Now, can you imagine winning $500 because you guessed the wrestling stuff? I mean, that's freaking awesome. And you should know this. Real to God, honest, true story. One of my followers legitimately won $1,000 for the AEW Double or Nothing Pick'em contest. I swear to God. Won $1,000. Low key, I was super jealous. But anyways, he won $1,000 for the AEW Double or Nothing Pick'em contest, and you can enter the Forbidden Door Pick'em contest and win a maximum prize of $500. Now, this is still not open just yet. They're going to be opening very soon, so keep an eye out over at WrestleRumble.com. You can also check them out on Instagram or on Twitter at WrestleRumble. All of the links are in the description box below. Please show our sponsors some love. All right. And now let's go ahead and move on from here. And thank you. Did I give the wrong date? Did I say June 16th? Oh no, Caspito, thank you so much. June 26th, my bad. And I'm going to be there. And I literally said the wrong date. Whatever. Oh my gosh. What is even happening on June 16th? Nothing. It's a Thursday. All right, moving on. June 26th, guys, Forbidden Door. All right. Moving on from here. Let's talk about this Thunder Rosa Marina Shafir match for the AEW Women's World Championship. This was an open challenge issued by Thunder Rosa. Marina Shafir was the one who answered it. Marina Shafir, she's been like, okay on AEW. I mean, one of my criticisms for Marina Shafir when we first saw her, wrestle on Dynamite is that she kind of lacks connection with the audience. And that's the one thing that was very, very noticeable, where there really isn't this like, you got to, when you're a wrestler, you got to come out, you got to put on a show, man. Like you got to work with the audience, you got to play to the audience, etc. I feel that Marina doesn't really have that connection with the audience. So that was one of my big criticisms when we first saw her. Today was a little bit better. It was definitely a little bit better, but still so much work there to be made. So much work. But either way, this was a good match. Thunder Rosa went out there and she had a pretty decent match with Marina Shafir. I just don't think that the crowd was really into it. I kind of felt like the crowd was watching, but they weren't like really into it in terms of responding to it. I do think that the crowd could have been a little bit more like, into this one a little bit. But regardless, there were some moments that I liked. I love the drop kick from Thunder Rosa to the back of the spine of Marina Shafir. I really liked that. I thought they gave him a good amount of time. Thunder Rosa, she got the win. Good. The whole point that they need to do with Thunder Rosa is make her a fighting champion. She needs to be a fighting champion. And you're only going to do that by having her go out there and have these matches. So I, for one, was very, very happy that she even got this match with Marina Shafir. So that's what I want to be too hard on it, because I was like, nah, like I'm very happy that Thunder Rosa got this match with Marina Shafir. regardless, what we do need to talk about is what happened afterwards. So afterwards, Marina Shafir locked in Thunder Rosa into a submission. And so Toni Storm ran out and to help out Thunder Rosa. And so like they kind of thought Thunder Rosa kind of seemed like she was like, okay, like we're good, right? But then Toni Storm picked up the belt and like kind of, she kind of eyed it a little bit for too long, just a split second too long. And it was enough. And she hands it over to Thunder Rosa, but it was enough for us to know that that was a tease that Thunder Rosa, Toni Storm is possibly on the horizon of occurring. Now, that did tell me, though, if they do go into Thunder Rosa, Toni Storm right away, it tells me that Toni Storm will become AEW Women's World Champion. I don't think that they would have Thunder Rosa defeat Toni Storm. And that's the one thing that I'm like, damn, because I don't want to see Thunder Rosa lose her championship yet. But I do feel that if they put Thunder Rosa and Toni Storm, that they're going to give the bout to Toni Storm. And then Thunder Rosa's reign is not going to be what a lot of people might have hoped that it would be. So part of me is like, shit, like I want to see Thunder Rosa, Toni Storm, but then at the same time, I'm like, shit, this could be like the end of Thunder Rosa's journey as AEW Women's World Championship. And I still feel that we can get so much out of it if she keeps going out there and having these like fighting champion type of matches. So anyway, so I was a little bit torn with how I felt about all of this. All right. So anyways, that was Thunder Rosa versus Marina Shafir. All right, and Christopher S. says, the worst part about Shafir is the music. It's not suitable for a heel, or especially a shoot-based gimmick. It's 100% death. I don't even remember the actual song. It's just like a generic song, right? Like, I don't even remember her song. I legitimately don't even remember her song. So I should tell you everything. If I don't remember a song, chances are it ain't great, because usually stuff you remember, it hits you, you're like, bam, like here I am. Like when Hangman Page comes down, it's like, all matter, you just see the freaking little pony coming down and you're like, ooh, this is a mood. Thunder Rosa, it's like, Thunder Rosa, songs that really grab you. Jordan says, Shafir's song is all string and the vibe is off. See, that's what I mean. Like, I don't even remember the song. All right, so let's go ahead and get into the lineup here for what we're getting for Rampage. Rampage is pretty stacked this Friday. So this Friday, come here because I will be doing my post show. I review SmackDown and Rampage. So Rampage, we had Red Velvet. We're going to have Red Velvet versus Chris Statlander. Will Ospreay and Aussie Open versus Trent Beretta and FTR. Satnam Singh's debut teaming with Jay Lethal. Eddie Kingston versus Daniel Garcia. And we're also going to be hearing from Hook and Danhausen. So a lot of stuff to be looking forward to. Eddie Kingston, Daniel Garcia should be pretty fun, should be pretty aggressive. That trios match should also be pretty interesting. And I would say those are the two things. And then Hook and Danhausen that I'm really looking forward to on AEW Rampage. Now, Road Rager is going to be taking place next Wednesday. AEW Dynamite Road Rager. And the card is pretty stacked. So we got the hair versus hair match, Chris Jericho versus Ortiz. That was made at the Los Angeles show. Then this match is kind of a little bit problematic, and I'll explain why. AEW World Tag Team Championship ladder match, Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus versus the Young Bucks and the Hardys. Now, I know you're seeing it and you're like, fuck yeah, like this match is going to have so much cool spots. We're going to have a ladder. We're going to have all these guys who know how to do cool shit. It's going to be great. That's like, what your train of thought should probably be. But unfortunately, a lot of people are really concerned about Jeff Hardy. He recently got a concussion. He's been looking a little off in some of his matches, and things haven't necessarily been going so great for Jeff Hardy on that end of things. And so a lot of people are kind of concerned about Jeff Hardy's well-being, especially in a match like this, especially following a concussion, not like, I think it was last week or something. And so instantly, that was one of the number one things that I saw on my timeline was literally everybody talking about their concerns for Jeff Hardy and him being in this ladder match. Now, I hope everything's okay. I'm going to choose to be a little naive here. And I'm going to go with the route of I'm freaking excited for this match, and I hope it's really good. Because, I love all these three teams so much, and I want to see them go out there and do cool shit. but I also hope that things are okay with Jeff Hardy. So, and Matt as well. But regardless, I do hope that it works out and that things are peachy keen, but I don't know. Can't promise that. Okay, so let's go ahead and see, like we got a lot of people putting out here, like Jeff is broken down, and I can't really argue with that, guys. I can't really argue with that, unfortunately. Bums me out, guys. It bums me out because I am excited for this match, but then it's like, and like Jeff Hardy's the guy that's like, doesn't matter like what he's feeling, he's gonna go out there, he's gonna do the swanton, he's gonna do this crazy spots. Like that's just who he is. So Wolfman says Jeff is a wild bird. Let him fly. That's where we're at on that, guys. And then Zeno Hour says Jeff should be part-time. I interviewed Conan, and that was one of the comments that he made as well. He thinks that Jeff Hardy should wrestle like once a month. So that was interesting for sure. That was very, very interesting. But anyways, that's happening. Main event, Jon Moxley versus Kyle O'Reilly. We kind of talked about this a lot already, with the winner going to advance to face either Goto or Tanahashi. We'll find out at Dominion. And Jon Moxley ended up winning this match. We kind of already knew that, but this was a good match, though. I love the back and forth strikes between both guys. I love the headbutts from Jon Moxley. Those was really, really good. There was one point where we had Kyle O'Reilly was like biting the rope, the second rope, and then Jon Moxley just like kicks it, and you just see like Kyle O'Reilly go like his head practically comes off. I love when Moxley does, those elbow shots right to like the neck area. So he did that. Then there's this moment where they're like slapping each other back and forth. That was really good. I loved the knees from Moxley to the face of Kyle O'Reilly. I thought those were brutal. Like the knees to the face, brutal as hell. Moxley ends up hitting the paradigm shift and wins the match. So good match, what we expected. Jon Moxley wins, what we expected. So overall, like Zeno Hour says, very good main event. Alrighty, everyone, that is it. That is AEW Dynamite for today. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I hope you had a great time. Please, if you did, please, whatever your favorite social media platform is, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, please help me spread the word about the show. I'm trying my hardest to continue growing it and bring in new viewers so that I can get more sponsors. We'll see. So please make sure to help me spread the word. If you do share this stream on Twitter, tag me so I can retweet it. I really appreciate you guys sharing my work. So just thank you so much for tuning in and just coming in here to give me a piece of your time. I will see you here on Friday. Thank you guys. Oh, one more thing, everybody. One more thing. I've been needing to say this and I've been forgetting to say this on the past shows. If you're not a video person and you just want to listen to the audio version of this podcast, you can now for free. You no longer have to be a subscriber to the Observer. You can technically listen to this podcast for free over on Spotify. On Spotify and Apple Podcasts, this podcast is now on there for free. So if you guys want to check it out, leave me a review because I haven't been promoting it that much on there and I have no reviews. So I need some damn reviews on that. So please head on over to Spotify and type in Speak Now Pro Wrestling. And please leave it a review if you listen to it on the audio version. So I need to promote that more and I keep forgetting. Thank you guys so much. I will see you here on Friday. Bye.